And welcome back to Saturday Agenda. I'm Joe Pinion. Well, illegal immigrants are flowing across our border. The national average for a gallon of gas is $3.41, and our supply chains are bottlenecked. Instead of addressing any of these problems, Democrats voted to pass the most reckless and radical bill in America's history. That about says it all, and those are not my words. That is a tweet from Texas Congressman Pat Fallon on the state of affairs here at home. Congressman Fallon joins us now, along with Congressman Louis Gohmert, but also from the great state of Texas. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Congressman Fallon, I'll start with you. Look, clearly the Biden administration said this week U.S. border policy was not to be a primary focus of talks with Mexico. I just have to stop there. What in the world are they talking about down there? If we're not going to talk about the border with Mexico, the border where we're seeing north of 50,000 gotaways per month, I mean, there's a compound effect there. The border where we have counterfeit drugs coming across that are laced with fentanyl, that are killing Americans. If you're not going to talk about the border with Mexico, what in the world are you talking about with Mexico?
Well, Joe, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what they should be talking about, and quite frankly, the only thing that they should be talking about. We've had the last 8 months in a row, 160,000 illegal border crossings. The first, and over that for 8 months, the first time that's happened in history. 1.6 million illegal border crossings under the Biden administration. There'll probably be 2 million by the end of this calendar year. As you mentioned with fentanyl, there's been 11,368 pounds of fentanyl seized this year. That's enough to kill every American 8 times. And just this last month of October, 15,631 pounds of methamphetamine. So do we want the federal government to be controlling our southern border or the Mexican drug cartels?
Yeah, absolutely. Congressman Gohmert, I'll come to you because the person who's supposed to be in charge of the border, Vice President Kamala Harris, she is the border czar. Here's what she had to say to ABC about the issue.
8 months ago, the president gave you the job of addressing the root causes of migration. But last month, we learned that in the past year had the highest number of illegal border crossings since they started to be recorded in 1960. What are you doing to turn that around? How long will it take?
Well, it's not going to be overnight. We can't just flip a switch and make it better. The reality is that we inherited a system, an immigration system that was deeply broken, and it's requiring us to actually put it back together in terms of creating a fair process that is effective and efficient.
Yeah, I'm an English major, old English major, so I'm confused because words used to have meaning. If the system they inherited was broken, it was certainly doing a good job of preventing the illegal border crossings. The only thing I can infer from that is that when they mean it was broken, they mean that the system actually wasn't letting enough people across the border, because that's what their policies are doing. It is a green light for people to stream across this border like never before.
Yeah, Joe, you're exactly right. That's what she's intimating there, that, gee, they wanted to overwhelm America with millions of people flooding in illegally, people with COVID, people with other diseases, people who were violent criminals. That's what they wanted. And the truth is, they did flip a switch on day one to destroy what Trump had been successful in putting together. Absolutely. And so, yeah, she's right, though. Once you flip that switch and throw the gates wide open and give billions of dollars in incentives to people to come across the border illegally, then, yeah, you're going to have trouble putting that genie back in the box. But it is their own creation. It is their own doing that has caused this massive surge in. And, for example, like Pat was talking about, you look at the illegal drugs flowing into this country, you look at the tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars now that are flowing to the drug cartels. Who is financing the corruption and the drugs and the sex trafficking? Well, this administration has allowed the American people to fund that like never before. And it's just fortunate for Biden and Harris that they can't be sued as government officials, because they have wreaked so much havoc in the United States
Congressman,
they'd be very liable.
absolutely, Congressman Fallon, I want to come to you because to your colleague's point here, I mean, I start to feel like these policies, they're like the pallets of bricks that just show up on the corner right before the riot occurs. I mean, you have little Easter eggs in this spending bill, this unwritten, still evolving spending bill. We're now finding out that there's funding to tear down the border wall buried in the trillions and trillions of spending. Look, if we understand concretely that a porous border is killing Americans, that a porous border has allowed Mexican cartels to team up with Chinese cartels to line their pockets at the expense of dead Americans, how in the world could even a dollar be spent to having less security on the southern border than we have today?
Well, elections have consequences, Joe, and Joe Biden has proven that he's putting America last when President Trump was putting America first. Hidden inside the triple B, I call it the Bernie Biden bankruptcy plan, was $100 billion to process amnesty claims. They want to take 50% of the Border Patrol budget and use it solely to process amnesty claims. They're taking our Border Patrol agents and making them amnesty clerks. And that $100 billion is actually going to cost, when you consider the impact that illegal immigration has on Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, that's going to cost over the next 10 years the American taxpayer probably upwards of $1 trillion. This is disgusting. It's a dereliction of duty. It's not a crisis. It's a catastrophe. And Joe Biden has made every state a border state.
Absolutely. There is such a thing as a crisis of our own making. This is a mess of President Biden's own making and the American people bearing the burden. Congressman Pat Fallon, Congressman Louis Gohmert, God bless you both. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Blessed. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right.